Friday Reads, Friday Reads, filling up your social media feeds with my Friday Reads, Friday Reads. I'm gonna read a book for my Friday Reads.
Hello book people, PT here with my Friday Reads. So this week I finished two books. I finished Shadow of Self by Brandon Sanderson, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was really fun. I think that it was one of the more fun Brandon Sanderson books that I've read, and I really like that side of Brandon Sanderson, where he's he kind of just letting himself have fun, letting the witty dialogue and fun creative characters come in, and I thought it was a very enjoyable reading experience. It's kind of setting up a new trilogy, so I'm very interested to see where this trilogy of these characters goes from here. But I really enjoyed it. It took me a long time to read it, but it wasn't the fault of the book by any means. It was just me and I was busy with some other stuff, and this week I was finally able to focus in a little bit, and I greatly enjoyed it. They're really fun books, and I really look forward to reading more of that trilogy, and I'm just about as excited about that trilogy as I am about anything else that Brandon Sanderson is writing and has coming up. Alright, the second thing I read is Andre the Giant, Life and Legend by Box Brown. This is a graphic novel biography of Andre the Giant, the famed wrestler. Really interesting book. First of all, the art style, so it's like a black and white, very sparse art with just kind of line work. It reminds me a little bit, like in the faces he uses and stuff like that, it reminds me a little bit of the old Peanuts, like Charles Schultz's Peanuts cartoons. Similar style to that, but it's all about Andre the Giant, and he talks about in the introduction how he did quite a bit of research to write this little biography, and a lot of the scenes are taken from direct stuff that people have talked about in interviews, and or are direct quotes from people, things like that. So very interesting book, but crazy portrait of a guy who I didn't know a lot about Andre the Giant other than just occasionally seeing him in wrestling stuff and seeing him in The Princess Bride. But what an interesting guy. He, by the age of 12, he was like too big to fit on a school bus, so he would ride in the back of his neighbor's pickup truck to school. His neighbor would drive him to school, and his neighbor was the famous writer and playwright Samuel Beckett. Crazy connection, right? But interesting part of this guy, his disease that he had that made him so big, and basically just made him keep growing throughout his whole adulthood and life and everything. Kind of made him be in constant pain, and he was like really hard drinking, like he would often drink like 40 beers in a sitting. And there's one scene where he's gonna have back surgery, and the anesthesiologist is trying to figure out how much anesthesia to give him, and it's like, well, how much does it take to get you drunk? And he said, well, after I finish my first bottle of vodka, I usually start to feel a little bit tingly. So very hard drinking, and a guy who just was often kind of cantankerous and would fight a lot and stuff like that, but also at the same time seemed to care about people. And it was an interesting biography because it was very honest on both the positives and the negatives of him. And yeah, just a really interesting read. It was a quick read, but if you have a chance to read it, I recommend it if you're interested in that. I have seen some reviews where people are like, I just wanted to know behind the scenes of The Princess Bride, and this only had 3 pages about The Princess Bride. Well, it's not really about The Princess Bride, so if you're going into it for that in particular, maybe don't read it. But very fascinating biography, I think. Plus, I think just doing a biography in comic book form is a really fun and interesting idea, especially for a character like that. This kind of like a larger than life guy. It really works very well. Alright, so for next week, first of all, I'm going to be reading Sandman Overture. Here's this beautiful cover again. I showed it in my unboxing video, but I love this artwork. So beautiful. I'm really looking forward to this because it's been, 15 years since I've read a new Sandman story. So it's going to be great. Secondly, my daughter recommended a book to me, which is fun now that she's reading stuff on her own, and she's like, has enough taste and stuff to be like, oh, I think you'd like this, Dad. So I'm reading this book that she read, and then I'm gonna, we could talk about it, and maybe she'll even come on my channel and do a little discussion or review of it. And that is by Ridley Pearson, Kingdom Keepers, Disney After Dark. This is like a series of people, I think, at Disney World who like behind the scenes there's a bunch of magical stuff going on, and they have to I don't know, fighter, I guess, or something. But interested, I think it's gonna be fun to read, just to talk about with her and things like that. And maybe she'll come on and talk about it on the channel. We'll see. Final thing I'll probably get to this week once I finish those two, because I think those two will both go pretty quickly, is Brain on Fire, which is a memoir about someone suffering from mental illness and kind of their whole story about what it's like to experience mental illness. I haven't read a lot of memoirs, but the ones I have read I've liked, and yeah, I'm really interested in checking this out just for something a little different. I need a little change of pace, I think. So I'm going to read that, and I'll definitely let you know my thoughts. I can't wait to hear about what you're reading. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.